health. I'm done. I'm done with those.
And the thing about willpower and the way that it's used, it's very restrictive. It's a
Mm-hmm.
means of restricting yourself, and I envision it as placing ourselves in these little boxes. And when
Yeah.
you're in a box like that, there's like no room for you to stretch
Mhm.
out and move and do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And that being under constant restraint and restriction does not allow you to really enjoy your life,
Hmm.
your relationships. If everything is revolves around revolves around being good and holding yourself together. And you notice that, and this is related, that a lot of these messages, the majority of these messages are directed toward women, right?
Oh yeah.
It's the idea that we should be small in physical, not taking up space. Our
Hmm.
bodies should be small, but we should also be small with our voice, not
Hmm.
say too much, hold
Hmm.
back, don't rock the boat. It's all an attempt to confine and restrict us.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm done. I'm personally done with that. And
It does not feel powerful
it
at
doesn't.
all. Willpower does not feel powerful.
It doesn't. It
No
feels like you're
power in
kind
that
of
word.
containing yourself.
Yes.
In the past year was that we don't have absolute control over everything that happens to us. It's just a part of being human. And
Hmm.
so, one of the things that I mentioned this early on is that dieting and the constant pursuit of weight loss sort of dehumanizes us. And one of those ways is that it asks us to be perfect. It asks us to not experience human things. Like a lot of stuff happens to us because of environment, genetics, trauma, like all of these things that play a role. So it's not this linear, if you just eat right and exercise and get enough sleep, you'll be fine. Like
Right.
that's just not how life works.
Right.
Um, and so, Jen, to your question about um, treating yourself versus honoring your body, I think if getting clear about what it means to you to honor your body, like what
Yeah.
does that mean to you? And becoming very clear, like no one else can tell you what it should be or what it is, but discovering for yourself what that means. And in your question, it seemed like it was either or. When
Right.
honoring your body could be treating yourself, and vice
Right.
versa.
Right. In all of us. Yes. So Samantha is not on the call, but she had, because I think she's working tonight, but she put a question in. She's gotten into a bad habit of saying, well, if I just didn't weigh so much, or if I was in shape like I used to be, then I could do XYZ. And sometimes it's true, but I feel like I'm getting lost in my body image now. I have days where I feel accepting of it, and other days where I feel like I'm too accepting and not making a solid effort towards towards my health. Any tips on how to defeat this constant battle back and forth in my head would be great.
When she says, if I just didn't weigh as much,
Mm-hmm.
what I hear in that question is a recognition of um, weight stigma, or
Mm-hmm.
the our collective and individual fear of being fat. Like that is one of the things that drives this striving for a smaller body, because we get the message early on that being fat is one of the worst things you can be,
Mm-hmm.
especially as a woman. And so we become super focused on our weight and doing everything we can to control it when it's not in our control as much as we believe it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
um and what comes with that is just a lot of shame, right? A shame about the body that we're in, and that we should be able to fix it, and that we should be trying to fix it is
Mm-hmm.
something that we're sort of socialized to believe, that we should be trying to fix these bodies that we're in, because if they are a certain size or a certain shape,
Mm-hmm.
or can't do certain things, then it is then unworthy and needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
And so it makes sense living in the culture that we live in that one would think that. And again, I would come back to the mental detoxing, like getting rid of or lessening the dieting voice, the shaming voice in your head is one of the things that can make that experience inside your body less stressful and less anxiety provoking, right?
Yeah.
Because we have that voice that's not our voice. That is, it may sound like our voice, but that's the voice of the culture telling you you weigh too much, you shouldn't be too accepting. And then she used the words too accepting. Like I feel like I'm
right. Like,
and that's equivalent to the letting myself go.
Right. Yes.
It reminded me, one of the things that I've been exploring personally is reclaiming exercise, reclaiming fitness, reclaiming physical activity for myself from diet culture. And the reason, I have so many things going on in my head. So let me diet culture has created, and like diet industry, the whole pursuit of losing weight it creates a very contentious relationship between us and our bodies, between us and physical activity. And so for so long, we associate working out with being good and losing weight, that oftentimes we don't explore the enjoyment in it, the healing of a certain kind of movement. And sometimes, and oftentimes, we will engage in workouts that we don't really enjoy, but they burn a lot of calories, right? And so I realized that, because I used to do fitness competitions for like 4 years, and I haven't done one in almost 4 years, but there was a time where I was doing fitness competitions. I was working out 5 to 6 days a week. And I'm someone who has always loved exercise, and I still do. But I realized that even after I gave up the competition circuit, I was still feeling like I needed to exercise to be lean, right? I had sort of lost the pleasure of exercise. I wasn't connecting with the way it made me feel, or just even just feeling alive in this body, just feeling. And sometimes, when you're doing an exercise you don't like, you watch TV or you put your mind somewhere else so you can just endure it.
Yes.
And, I'm taking that back. Like, I want to move in a way that feels the way I want to feel in the moment. And it doesn't have to happen in a gym, or it can happen in a gym.
Right.
It can be in my bedroom on a mat doing stretching and dancing and whatever. Like, there are no rules to it. And so I encourage people who are going through this, awakening or walking away from diet culture, to really explore what your relationship is with your physical body, and particularly movement. Because there's a lot of healing and positivity in movement. It doesn't always have to be punishing and brutal and making up for the cheesecake you had yesterday and all of those things that we get taught.
When you were talking, the only time that I have liked exercising was when I was pregnant. When I was pregnant with my daughter, I had preeclampsia really, really bad with my son. I got very, very ill. And so when I was pregnant with Rory, I was really trying to do everything I could to not go through that again. I was really scared. So I was, eating like high protein stuff, and I was working out just to try and get physically stronger. But I wasn't at all working out to lose weight, because hello, pregnant, I was going to gain weight. But I got really strong, like my arms and my back. I got really, it was the first time I had ever been like, what is this thing? Well, hello. Like, I was, I was really proud of myself. I was able to pick my son up, even when I was, 8 and 9 months and like big old belly. I was able to pick my son up and carry him easily. I ran a 5K while I was I think I was like 6 months. I mean, I was big.
Wow.
I'm a big old belly, like, bouncing all around. And I felt really strong.
Mm.
That's also the only time I've been comfortable wearing a bikini was when I had a huge pregnant belly. I mean, like, yeah. And those things have to be connected. That strength came when nobody was expecting me to lose weight.
Mm.
And the freedom to wear what I want came when I was supposed to be large.
Mm-hmm.
When taking up a lot of room meant something good was happening instead of something bad was happening.
Yeah.
Those things have got to all be, God, this is so messed up.
So it is really
This is so messed up.
I mean, there's really no other way to say it. I think, the more, so I do a lot of writing, and I have written a lot in this past year. And so I write to like explore things, to question and challenge. And so for the past few years, I've been writing about a lot of stuff like relationships and body and sex and all kinds of stuff. And it has been a way for me to sort of peel back the rules, the external voices, the noise that I've always heard, and to really discover what it is that I think and believe about those things, right? And so in this past year, especially, I've realized just how harmful diet culture is, right? It's everywhere. It's normalized. It's insidious. It causes us to deny ourselves. It ignores body diversity. It expects perfection. It does all of these things that are not nourishing or life-giving, but it gives us the impression that it is. So it's just a big scam. I don't know what else to say.
Yes.